Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton both had big nights this past Tuesday, but somehow the other candidates haven't seen the writing on the wall. Tim, what are your thoughts on this crazy presidential primary?
Yeah, I thought the writing on the wall probably happened after Florida for Donald Trump, and all he had to do at that point was play the old Dean Smith four corners offense and just kind of keep his mouth shut and not do anything.
Oh, I can't do
But
that.
and,
Can't do that.
No, he
Can't do
didn't.
that.
And so he had a little bit of a rocky patch, I admit, and then, but probably all you need to know is just the fact that he won every single county, every single congressional district, every single county that was up for grabs on Tuesday.
In all 5 states, really?
Yeah, and so as events go on, I think they don't change, they become more so.
Yeah.
And I think what you're seeing now is just this momentum start to build for Trump. It's been building for a while, but now people are getting the idea that, well, so many other people are voting for Trump, I guess it's okay for me to go ahead and vote for Trump. I also think all the shenanigans with Lion Ted Cruz and John 1 for 44 Kasich.
Don't you love his names? Brooke and Hillary.
Yeah, but they're actually proving Trump's
Little
point
Marco.
for him.
Little Marco.
Little Marco.
He called Chuck Todd Sleepy Eyes,
Yeah, low energy.
low energy Jeb Bush.
So all the other candidates are basically doing Donald's work for him because they're proving the point.
So right before this show, guys, gentlemen, Ted Cruz did something interesting and sort of unprecedented in American politics. But then again, you look at this race, there's nothing precedented about any of this. It's just all new ballgame. He announced today that he has picked Carly Fiorina as his vice presidential running mate.
So that to me is like the CEO of a company that's closing announcing the hiring of a new executive.
It will do him no good whatsoever.
Number
She will
one,
bring absolutely nothing.
here's why. Number one, it was a stupid pick. I like Carly Fiorina, by the way, but the voters didn't. If you're going to pick someone, why not pick somebody like, Marco Rubio, who, when you combine Marco's delegates with Cruz's delegates, puts him
Yeah, good
mathematically back in the race.
Or somebody from Indiana, which is a state you have to have.
Exactly.
It's,
a lot
it's almost like, since he lost, he came in third in all the primaries, with one exception, I think. I think Kasich came in third in one of them. So he's seeing himself fall so far down, he has no chance. So I think he's just going for making a statement at this point.
Well, I think
Well, he's trying, Trump kept the media's attention for months with these crazy things he would say and these crazy things he would do. This guy's trying to recreate it very unsuccessly, in my opinion.
I don't know if he's trying to recreate what Trump is doing. I mean, I listened in the car on the way up to his speech, and it's interesting timing that the day after that he got crushed, but him and Kasich are going to split. They agreed to do this sort of switcheroo that if one gets out, the other does.
But
as well.
Kasich said, but all
That's
I'm
not
doing
gonna
is
help.
not campaigning in Indiana. I'm not telling my people not to vote for me. Well, guess what? I don't think that helps. But again, to my point, so Donald Trump has 954 delegates as of this week's primaries.
Yeah.
Ted Cruz has 562. Marco, had he picked him,
Yeah.
would have had 171.
Uh-huh.
Add 171 to 562, we're now mathematically back in the race. Carly Fiorina has 1.
Yeah, I think
I don't get it.
No.
And I get the woman thing, and again, I'm a big Carly Fiorina person. The voters weren't.
Here's where I have an issue with what he did. Look at it politically. You have Carly Fiorina, who was a former executive of HP, and her story is, from secretary to CEO.
Right.
Great story, but her tenure at HP did not end well. We all know that. I mean, it was sort of a disaster. They had massive problems. She got ousted by the board.
Yeah, and none of this really even matters anymore, because all Republicans can hope to do, if your goal as Republican is to keep Trump from winning the nomination,
Well,
then you go to a contested convention.
seems like
if
most
your goal is to
Republicans-
put a Republican in the White House, then you start throwing your support behind him, because if you go to a contested convention, you will lose for certain.
I think we're going to have a contested convention.
I don't think we are.
I hope you do, but I don't think you will
we are.
either. I think
I
Trump
think
will
it's
tie
going
it
to
up.
happen.
I think that, I read that if all Trump has to do is continue at or slightly less than his current pace over the next remaining states, If you look at delegates left, there are 372 winner-take-all delegates available. There are 96 proportional delegates available, and there are 57 that's a direct election, which I believe is West Virginia. So, the winner-take-all, most of those are in favor of Trump at this point, knowing that that could change. The proportional is where Ted Cruz has some potential, but again, if they're proportional and he only wins by a little bit, then
You mean Alex Mooney, who is the chairman over in West Virginia for Ted Cruz's campaign, is not going to deliver West Virginia for Ted Cruz?
that
No,
remains
and
to
this
be
is
seen.
part of the whole dynamic that's been different this time around, because endorsements and all kinds of establishment tailwinds have meant the exact opposite of what they normally do. So if you get somebody who's in the establishment and they come out and endorse you, you're hurt.
Yeah.
And the big advantage, Donald Trump always had that under number of endorsements, that great big goose egg, and to his that spoke to the people who were voting for him, because he didn't have Washington connections.
So will Trump be the huge catastrophe to the Republican Party that a lot of people are predicting, do you guys think?
Time will tell. I don't know. If you look at Trump in his business life, he is not the crazy person we've seen.
It's a marketing genius.
He is a marketing genius. He messed up a little while there on this election, but it'll be interesting to see. I think, frankly, that he could pull some of these states that are closed primaries that don't allow independent votes. Independents are a huge factor here. And one has to wonder where those independent voters are going to turn come general election
Well, I look
day.
at the election map, the electoral map. I don't see how he even gets
I don't see
past
him even coming
Romney's
close to
numbers.
winning.
I mean,
No.
think about it. You look at places where Hillary Clinton will do traditionally well. She's going to win New York. She'll win California. There's a lot of excitement and building momentum in Republican circles, but this map is still going to say the same.
And you take into account, whether you go to a contested convention or not, a lot of Republicans are going to feel disenfranchised in the election. They are going to be really angry.
There's a lot of
So a lot of them are
Republicans.
just not going
But
to
here's the
vote.
problem, and I got to tell you personal experience. I was disenfranchised by Mitt Romney, but I still voted for him.
Well, a lot of folks
Because
vote, though, when they feel that way.
I don't know about
I didn't
that.
I didn't vote for any of the guys that are leading, that are still running. I voted for Rand Paul, but I mean, that was a little different reasons. But I can tell you personally that if Trump, as a Republican, if Trump gets our nomination, I'm going to vote for third party. I don't fundamentally agree with Donald Trump, and I think you're going to see a lot of Republicans either sit it out. I mean, I hear some Republicans that are upset at the process. They would vote for Hillary over Trump just to say, we'll chalk this up as a.
There's a lot of runway between here and general election.
Oh, I agree.
There is.
So,
But Hillary's got this
here's
wrapped up,
here's
right?
the reality for Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz, who was on
Lying
John
Ted.
Kasich about you need to get out, you are mathematically unelectable, is now mathematically unelectable.
Yeah.
He needs 675
That's right.
delegates. There are 616 remaining. Is he going to follow his own advice?
Of course not.
Obviously not. And I heard on the radio on the way over to the studio that, well, he thinks he has a great message. Well, he may think that, but apparently the voters don't.
Yeah, but
That's right.
I'll tell you what, though, he's running the gambit on Trump with taking delegates away from him. That's fun to watch.
It is fun to watch, but
That's just going to
again,
disenfranchise Republicans even more.
You're exactly right,
Because
Carl.
no matter how the primaries are constructed, everybody knows the ground rules to begin with. The average member of the general electorate just feels as though there should be a one-man, one-vote type
But
of
isn't
thing
it-
in the
but isn't,
primaries, even though they're not built that way.
But Carl, isn't Ted Cruz taking advantage of the primary rules? By siphoning delegates away from
Well, they're
Trump?
all certainly trying to take advantage of the
They
primary
are,
rules.
but-
The message that's coming across to the public, though, is that
I hear
somehow
you.
or another, Trump is being attacked by using these obscure
and,
rules, even though we all knew what they were to
And,
begin
and
with.
the reality is, and say what you want, but there's clearly going to be backlash if Trump is at 1220 or 1200 or even 1170, and they elect somebody who had half the delegates that he did. And I think those delegates went, because there's people that say, well, if Trump gets elected, I'm going to move out of the country. Well, guess what? They're not. So you
I didn't
gotta-
leave when Obama got elected.
So Indiana's next. 57 GOP delegates. It is a winner-take-all.
Yeah.
There's 92 Democratic delegates. Let's talk about Democrats for a minute.
Yeah.
Bernie, is Bernie mathematically out of it?
He is. He is. And I think what Bernie is going to do at this point is something that candidates who have fallen behind but still have a good following have done for ages. They're going to go for influencing the party platform.
Yeah.
I think he's going to tone down his attacks on Hillary, and he's just going to go with getting, at least I hope he does, and he's just going to get his message out, hoping to bring that party platform as far to the left as he could possibly get it. He's already succeeded in getting Hillary to move to the left to a degree, and he's just going to keep pushing that until the convention, I think, at which point they'll all be warm and fuzzy. You'll see him on the stage, clasping hands or raising them up, and going to put Hillary in the White House.
Hillary's effectively won the nomination, and
Yeah,
now
absolutely.
Now the bigger question is, who will Hillary choose as her vice president? And I happen to believe it's going to be one of the Castro guy. That's the current HUD secretary, Julian Castro. They keep bringing this guy's name up.
Yeah,
and
I have no
He's a
idea
young
who she's
guy,
gonna pick.
like 30s. He's Hispanic. He's from Texas. So cross that off the list. I mean, for political.
You know,
And his brother's the mayor of San Diego or San Antonio or
Yeah,
something like that.
they're twins, right?
I hate to bring this up, but the elephant in the room is still what happens to Hillary from a legal perspective. Is there an indictment
No,
forthcoming?
there's
No,
not.
there won't be. And
But
there is,
you know
and
the
there
good-
is, and everything changes, but there won't be.
In my dream world, you got Trump, who's going to go in court for Trump University,
TU.
and Hillary, who has the email
scandal.
problem. So they will alternate their campaign appearances with their court appearances all the way through.
And with that, we need to let Tim have the last word on that. Next up on the flip side, the town of Williamsport and the county are working to correct a smelly problem. What is it? Find out in 3 minutes.